Hello, fight fans. Wow, this fight is finally happening. Wanderlei, the Axe-Murderer Silva, versus Chael the Gangster Sonnen. Main event, Saturday, June 24th, Madison Square Garden, Bellator pay-per-view. Does anyone remember when these guys were coaching opposite on The Ultimate Fighter? It's been 4 years. Almost 4 years. It's crazy. They started fighting on the set. Chael took Silva down in his flip-flops. That became a meme, and all hell broke loose. And what happened to this fight? Wanderlei Silva ran out of his gym when WADA tried to show up to get a random drug test. Claimed there was a language barrier, something about thought he was being kidnapped or he didn't know who the people were. Anyways, he received a lifetime ban from MMA and WADA, and this is crazy. Similar thing happened to Chael Sonnen. Tested positive in his last fight in the UFC for 2 banned substances. Even lost his commentating position on Fox. Banned from the UFC for life. Crazy what's happened to these guys. Let's get into the actual fight now with all the build-up. Wanderlei seems as motivated for this fight as ever. He's training intensely. Said he thinks about beating on Chael Sonnen every morning when he wakes up. The guy gets in people's head and he's supremely confident. He had a tremendous career in both the UFC and in Pride, where he's probably Pride's biggest star. He was one of, if not the most intimidating fighters in the history of fight sports. And he'd sometimes win a fight in the stare down, similar to Mike Tyson, only scarier. And I say scarier because if you don't remember, Pride had these rules where you could kick and knee the head of a downed opponent and stomp on their head and face. He used those rules to gratuitous victories. His head stomp videos are so graphic, some of them pulled off YouTube for not being advertiser friendly. Showed he had a lot left before leaving the UFC when he and Chuck were in the fight of the night, his first fight in the UFC. Believe it or not, though, that was in 2007. The UFC would knock out Keith Jardine. He'd win a dominating decision over Michael Bisping. He'd get a second-round knockout over Kung Lei. His last fight in the octagon was an epic fight of the night and knockout of the night performance against Brian Stann. If you have not seen that fight and you're a fight fan, you're doing a disservice to yourself. Stop the video, look up Wanderlei Silva versus Brian Stann right now. You will not be disappointed. If you don't like the fight, then just shut the video off and never watch fighting again. You're retarded. That fight, however, was in March of 2013. How much does he have left in the tank at this point? He says he's at the top of his game, which obviously I feel that he can't be at 42. But he says he is very energized to be fighting in Madison Square Garden. I take him at his word on that. Chael the Gangster Sonnen is an excellent wrestler, and this has been, at times, Wanderlei's Achilles heel. In the UFC, Chael fought only the best. That's why he took a few losses. He did, however, dominate Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds when everyone thought Anderson Silva was indestructible. In one 6-fight stretch, Chael Sonnen actually beat Dan Miller, Yushin Okami, Nate Marquardt, Brian Stann, and Michael Bisping. And in that 6-fight stretch, his only loss was that last-second submission loss to a triangle choke from Wanderlei Silva. In August of 2013, the last year he'd fight in the UFC, he submitted legend Shogun Rua in the first round. He does have something left in the tank. He is now 40 years old, but his first fight in Bellator against an even older 42-year-old Tito Ortiz, he lost. It did appear that he had Tito in a Darce choke and that Tito may have tapped. He let go, but still he lost to Tito Ortiz. He seems just as motivated for this fight as Silva, though. There's so much build-up, so many years of aggression in this fight. I think when it comes down to it, Chael is 2 years younger. I think his superior grappling will control the fight. If this is old Pride rules where Wanderlei could kick Chael in the head when he's down and knee him, then I take Silva. But in this one, I take Chael. Never count Silva out with those wild shots, but I think Chael takes him down, grinds it out to unanimous decision. Thanks for tuning into this video, and enjoy the fights.